Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another trade recap. Yes, oh no. Last one, unfortunately. But yeah, welcome back to another trade recap. Today we caught a win. Great start to the week. No news Monday, so I was a little iffy about price action going into the session. But as always, let's get right into it with the higher time frame. Of course, we start with the daily time frame, and what do we see? What do we see? We see that we have been accumulating on the higher time frame from the swing high to the swing low. The swing high being all-time high, swing low being the swing low right here inside this volume imbalance. As you guys can see, we have failed to break through these two price levels, and therefore we have just been chopping around, creating a big accumulation phase on the daily time frame. What else do I note out? I note out that we created a bullish fair value gap. So, of course, we have to mark that out because price will more than likely deliver sensitive price action around this around these price levels. So, yeah. Moving on to the 4 hour, we can see that we created a bearish 4 hour gap that has yet to be mitigated. So that was my bullish draw on liquidity. I wanted to see this gap get tapped into and then look for shorts below. What else? We have this daily BISI right here, like I mentioned, and if I drew out the red line, you guys would be able to see that these 4 hour candle bodies are respecting consummate encroachment, meaning that it's showing bullish strength. Again, it's just another confluence that will deliver me to a bias. Dropping down to the 1 hour time frame, we can see that we created this 1 hour bullish fair value gap after dumping overnight during Asia and London sessions. So I wanted to see if we would create a bearish fair value gap. If we did, I was looking to take shorts. But yeah, we got relative equal highs. Again, this high being the 4 hour fair value gap low. So I definitely wanted to see this get tapped and then go all the way low to these relative equal lows right here, which is our minor sell side target. Again, I want to point out the 1 hour candle bodies were and are respecting consummate encroachment of that daily fair value gap. So as you guys can see, we wicked down all the way below, but we failed to close below this red line. Therefore, we saw this bullish retracement up here. Sorry. Dropping down to the 15-minute, we see that we have this 15-minute bullish fair value gap. This is our last line of defense. If we close below here, we're more than likely going to take out minor sell side. But, so you guys can see, we have failed to close below consummate encroachment. So, either direction was possible in my opinion. Again, these relative equal highs right below the 4 hour fair value gap. Yeah, those were my notes going into the market. My notes are the following. On the daily, I said still accumulating. Just noted that new BISI. 4 hour, I said started to dump as soon as we opened last night. Created a volume imbalance plus liquidity void, which I believe result into a fair value gap. That's why I drew out my fair value gap like this and not right here. And I just noted that it was still unmitigated, so that was going to be my bullish draw on liquidity. For the 1 hour, it said it looks like we're about to create a bearish IFG. Will be bearish if this occurs. 1 hour candle body suspecting CE of daily BISI. I said no clear draw because we were in an accumulation phase. For the 15-minute, I noted that the 15-minute fair value gap was aligning with the 1 hour fair value gap, so I noted that this should be a sensitive price zone. And I said price will dump towards minor sell side if we create a bearish IFG. So we opened up with a massive opening range gap of nearly 350 points, which is pretty massive. Whenever we have this big of a gap, like I always mention, I like to go in the same direction as the gap. So since we open lower, I want to look for shorts. But yeah, we opened up and immediately started to ping pong back and forth. As you guys can see, this is the 15-minute time frame. We ended up taking out this minor sell side and then immediately coming back up to create this massive wick. And then I also wanted to note that we were extremely uncorrelated with ES. This swing low is this one. As you guys can see, we failed to sweep it on ES. However, we did sweep all these relative equal highs on ES, but of course we failed to sweep them on NQ. So whenever this happens, it tends to deliver a bad price action kind of day with a lot of chop, a lot of targets not hitting flushly like they should. TPs being edged and stop losses getting hit whenever we have uncorrelated assets. So, like I mentioned in pre-market, I said if we create a bearish IFG, which we ended up doing, we were gonna hit this minor sell side, and of course that's what ends up happening. Unfortunately, we cannot find an entry inside of this price leg, so I did not get to catch any of this price action, which is okay because I was trying to stay patient today. I also noted that that we were about to create the 1 hour bearish IFG, and if we did that, my new drawn liquidity would be this unmitigated 1 hour fair value gap and all these relative equal lows. So what happens around 10 o'clock, I usually expect a small little reversal. So I noted this 1 hour fair value gap that got inverse. I was trying to get an entry with these candles, but we kept rejecting. So honestly, I was not too confident. So I said I would take this trade, but I do not like how many times we have been rejecting the close above. Lots of wicks. But this was just a nice little 1-to-1 play. It ended up playing out very nice. Unfortunately, we did not get in. But that's all right. And of course, at 10 a.m., what happens? We immediately, again, that this retracement, this happens at right at 10 o'clock, meaning we failed to close below this red line, which I was really hoping we did, because if we did, it would even give me more, it would affirm my idea that we wanted to go lower, even lower, just because this red line is kind of like a bullish line of defense, kind of. That's how I like to view it. So if we close below, it's like that bullish defense is breaking apart, and the bears are taking control. However, we failed to close below, so that was a little annoying. And then now for my trade. It was a pretty late trade, as you guys can see. It was at 10:50, so 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock macro. We finally get this 2-minute bullish IFG right here after creating this price leg. We get this bullish IFG, and I'm just looking to target up here. So this within this price leg, we created a 4-minute fair value gap. I was looking honestly to take shorts if we got a candle close below here. However, we ended up respecting it, and that told me that we were going to take out all this low resting liquidity. However, if we did close below, I would have taken a short here, targeting this swing low. And then this is what it looks like on the 15-minute. And here are, so as you guys can see, yeah. As you guys can see, we get tagged in with this candle right here and immediately go into drawdown. Luckily for me, I always place my stop losses at the swing low. Even if that lowers the risk to reward, I'm okay with that because more often than not, we will go into drawdown before going higher to our draw on liquidity. So I get tagged in and we immediately start dumping. We created this 1 minute SIBI, which luckily for us, we got an inversion. So after that, I just wanted to see a candle close above this red line because again, in this scenario, it's like the bearish, this is the bearish defense line right here. If we get a candle close above, the bears would be losing control and the bulls would be regaining control. Yeah. So as you guys can see, as soon as we get that candle close above this red line, consummate encroachment of that first percent of fair value gap, our trade goes immediately to TP. I put 3 contracts right here and left the run there for that 4-hour unmitigated gap with my stop loss being right here. So right now I secured some profits and I'm just trying to get more. My stop loss is in profit, so if it goes back down, it is what it is. And then I said, psych, I moved my stop loss back to my original entry place since we did get a pretty large displacement down. At this point, we did close below this red line, so I was expecting to get stopped out, and that is what happens. Overall, a pretty solid day. And then, yeah. So I went in with 4 contracts, sold 3 right here, and then got out for my last one at my entry price. Over here, I accidentally entered into a short right before market open, so I quickly closed. But yeah. So here are my notes. Said 2-minute bullish IFG, respecting consummate encroachment of daily fair value gap, this red line. Respecting 4-minute fair value gaps. There was no 5-minute fair value gaps. That's why I was on the 4-minute time frame. I said lots of wicks below us, high resistance, low resting liquidity above us, and an unmitigated 4-hour SIBI above. So as you guys can see on the 15-minute, this is what I meant by high resistance liquidity. All these wicks, it's not very smooth compared to all these, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah. Let's see if that 1-hour fair value gap was hit. Not yet, but we are making our way down all the way down here. I honestly expect this to get hit prior to this now, since we are below this daily BISI. Yeah, so if we get this candle closure below here, we're definitely going to hit this yellow line before hitting this box. But other than that, that's it for the trade recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. Have a good weekend trading. Be patient. Stay calm. Don't over trade and don't tilt. Yeah. Peace. Deuces.